Good morning. It is the 5th of November and I thought I'd sum up my year for you. Rain mostly. First thing I got to say is thank you to everybody who has come into the channel over the past few months. You saved the channel, really. Beginning of July I was on the verge of knocking it all on the head. You know, when you put in a lot of effort on a video and the 5 hours of editing, and then after a week you've only got 400 views, and only half of those are your subscribers, the other half are people paying it a visit, then you just wonder, where am I going wrong and what can I do different? Or should I just sell all the gear and go back to normal golf? Let's go have a knock. Of course, besides yourself, I've got to thank my hosts this year. West Monmouthshire, again, and the Herefordshire, and James in the Pro Shop for help sorting me out a country membership. And it's allowed me to play golf when I haven't had a home course. So those two clubs deserve a great deal of thanks. Right, before we carry on, I've had a few comments about my swing, which is only natural. People seem to think that the fault is this folding left arm and the long swing. That isn't the fault. I've done it for 34 years, ever since my big accident. So my body doesn't turn very well, so I kind of like finish the swing with the hands. No, the fault is something different. If I take the club away properly, then the club head is in front of me and the butt is pointing at my body. My fault is when I do this. Bow that wrist, the club head is now behind me and the butt is pointing at the right rough. So guess where the ball goes? The difference between a good takeaway and my bad takeaway is about 10 to 15 yards in length and an absolute country mile in direction. Once you get behind, you've had it. I know, because I've had it. Those two clubs allowed me this year not to have to rejoin Gloucester. No disrespect to Gloucester, but I had the opportunity to play these two courses and play my away days. And it just didn't really happen because of the weather. And it really hurt me this year not rejoining Gloucester. Could have all turned out differently if I had done. Now I've just been called through, which is very kind, but it does mean that the next two holes I've got to run a little bit just to get ahead of them. When you've got a camera, playing quickly is difficult. So getting called through isn't always a blessing, but thanks gents, it was very kind of you to step aside and let an old man go through. Now there's no captions on this. Very reason is I am trying desperately to get videos edited before I go away. So I'm doing the absolute bare minimum at I can't even say it. The bare minimum at the moment, just to get videos done. I'm certainly not editing on holiday. Not very good lighting on this. So I'm semi-retired now. I work a 4-day week. So essentially I've got 52 days of the year to go out and play golf. So I was hoping to do a lot of away days. But it seemed to coincide that when I was sat in my office, it was sunny and dry, And when I had my day off, it was raining. So the list of courses that I wanted to visit this year actually got longer rather than shorter. What's going on with this camera? Should have seen the practice swing, it was great. Now, it's often said that I don't take my tap-ins seriously. When you're a couple of feet away and it's too much trouble to go get your putter, you can always just knock it in with your wedge. Right, I've got away from the 4-ball now, so now I can relax and perhaps play some decent golf. See, it's in there if I think about it. Just got to think about going back straight. Well, I get an odd bounce here. It wasn't until I walked onto the green and spotted all of the deer hoof prints that I realised why I'd got such an odd bounce. Such is life. This is take 2 because I hit the record button and it didn't record. That quite often happens because it's such a tiny little thing. So I took all of December off because my glasses are steaming up. It is such a cold day and I'm burning a lot of energy around this golf course going quickly. So I took December off, which isn't unusual for me. I've done it many years in the past. Have a relax, rest your back, think about the year you've just had, think about what you want to do in the year coming up. Well, that 1 month turned into 5 months. We had so much rain, courses were closed, courses were flooded, some which did manage to open because of pressure of members, well, they were just a quagmire, they weren't actually worth playing. So 5 months off is not good for your golf. It's even worse when you're fit and you want to play. If you're injured, well, you're injured, you know you can't play no matter what, you cannot go out and play. But if you're wanting to play because you're fit, then it seems to be doubly painful. On the par 3 7th, now this hole has given me no end of trouble this year. Not because of the small green or even the wind direction, it's that takeaway. Yeah, it's horrible. I got to fix that. Now, I don't need any suggestions in the comments. I'm the one who's got to find the correct feeling. You cannot teach me a feeling over the internet in print. How far is it playing today? Oh, flags front left. It might be a little easier. Yeah, from the tee box, this hole doesn't look uphill. As soon as you get here and look back, it's certainly a club, if not a little bit more. Now, one change I might make next year is to go back to the phone, get myself a lightweight tripod. They only cost about £25. They last about 10 months before they fall to bits. So it's an investment that you're going to see go down the toilet. Just to make life a little easier. I mean, this rig with a proper tripod weighs about £5, and I'm an old man now. I can't see much of the fairway, and I don't think it's because of my glasses. Shot Tracer's going to have fun with that one. Talking of shot tracer and grey skies, let's talk about shot tracer as we walk. It's a little app on my phone. It costs £5.99. It's not very good, it's not very accurate. If you're watching on a 50-inch screen at home, you'll see the ball heading off in a different direction to what the line is saying. I simply can't make the app bend the line in the direction the ball goes. It's pretty poor, but it's essential for those people who basically watch on their phone while they're sat on the toilet. And yes, many people have told me that's what they do. So how long does it take? Well, a round of golf is 36 full shots. That's 2 hours. Against a grey sky, forget the mist, just a grey sky, it will fail to draw anything. So I'll have to do it manually, and then you're heading into that third hour, 2.5, 2:40. It's definitely a labour of love doing this YouTube lark. You certainly don't do it for money. Well, some do. I mention editing and shot tracer from time to time, simply in response to comments that say, "You're not doing a good enough job." They don't realise just how much work is involved. When you're playing golf or drinking beer, I'm sat at a computer. Right, I know I'm not taking the tap-ins or the 3 and 4 footers very seriously today. I'm not interested in my score. I'm not posting a score. I'm not trying to break a score. All I'm interested in is my takeaway and whether the ball's going straight. And I hit a straight driver there, and a more or less straight 3-wood, although it was a tiny, weensy bit fat. I've never needed a critic. I've always been my own worst critic, my own worst enemy, the person that drives me to get better. When I counted up how many rounds of golf I'd played this year, I thought, give yourself a break, Simon. You've played a third of your normal golf. What do you expect out of your game when you're playing a third of your normal golf? You know, every year you get a period in the middle of summer, 2 weeks, maybe even stretches out to 2 months, where golf all of a sudden is very easy and you start shooting under your handicap and your handicap is going down. I haven't had that this year. I've been hanging on by my fingernails with my short game just to get my handicap or 1 or 2 over my handicap. I haven't had a single low round this year. Not surprising, is it really, when you play so little? Well, this is a practice round, and in practice rounds I try shots like hitting the hybrid from here. Poorly. And I haven't been in a bunker in a couple of months, so I need to practice that as well. Have I still got it? It would appear that I have. It wriggled. Well, hopefully next year everything will be a little bit easier. From April onwards, my semi-retirement continues. I'm down to a 3-day week, which obviously means 3 days pay, so the money gets a fair bit less, shall we say. I'm on 80% at the moment, as you can imagine. But I have the time, I have the money. There are courses that I want to visit. I don't like making promises. There's a gentleman up in Manchester who's been asking me for 2 years to please come up and play. And I'd love to do that. We just haven't had the weather. But the other side of the coin is the finance. So if I go up to Manchester, it's an entire day out. It's, what's it going to cost me in fuel? It's going to cost me about £40 in fuel, then there's the green fee, then there's food and drink on the way there, and there's food and drink on the way back, and then you spend 5 hours making a video, you put it on YouTube, and you get £4.50 in return. Do you know what? You would be mad to take up YouTube. What I have sadly seen this year is a lot of my small sort of like YouTube mates have quit. They've reached the point where the income isn't meeting the expenses, and this, why am I doing this? I've got a couple of, you've got guys who've got very expensive cameras. They've got GoPros, which aren't cheap either. Some of them cost £400. They've got multiple microphones and microphones here. And they've spent a fortune and they've got nothing back in return. This is not a complaint. I love doing this. I love trying out different things. But yeah, it's nice to get a return, isn't it? It's nice if you can just meet expenses at least. That was trying too hard. So when I go searching for balls in the summer, it's for days like this. I'm playing with junk, so it doesn't really matter if I lose it, because it's somebody else's investment. Oh well, it's time to give up on this. Ah, it's over there. Now the laser said this was 28 yards. I think it's getting confused by the mist. I think it's considerably longer than 28 yards. In fact, it's about that long. Oh, hit it, Simon. It's uphill, mate. Another take two. I've been talking to myself again. That's the problem with that little tiny record button, and it requires me sometimes to retake a shot, either retake a drive or a chip or a putt. It was on the 7th the other day and I chipped up to a foot and tapped in. I then came to the camera, screen blank. Oh God. Hit record, back down the green. This time I chipped up to 4 foot and I had a sweat over it. But I got the same score. So, rangefinders, I've had a few. Go Sport were kind enough to give me some and some golf bags, and they sponsored a charity day, which was very, very kind of them. The Sigmund one that I had was pretty damn good as well. Some of the others, well, I had one that didn't work straight out the box. And I've been contacted by a couple of other companies. They sell these £59.99 rangefinders on Amazon, and quite frankly, they're shit. There's no other word for it. They're shit. So what I've started doing now is when I get the emails coming in, and they've stopped for a while, thank goodness. I get an email in, would you like to try our rangefinder? We'll send you one, you can keep the product, blah, blah, blah. You can have 5% on the sales. Although I obviously sell none. And I've basically just written back and said, my fee is £500, please. And they haven't replied, but it's got rid of them because I don't want to do it. Talking of sponsorship, I did write to Mizuno 2 years ago. Was it 2 years or 1 year ago? Whatever. I wrote to Mizuno and I said, look, here's me, here's my channel, this is what I do. Can you give me some help? Now, I didn't ask for anything. I didn't say, can you send me the new driver or whatever. I just, can you give me some help? And they wrote back and said, sorry, you do not have enough influence. Okay, fair enough. So I wrote back and I said, look, I've used Mizuno golf clubs, driver to putter, nothing else in the bag for 33 years. Is loyalty any value to you? And I got a polite sort of, well, thanks for choosing Mizuno golf clubs, but no thanks. Shame really, because if there's anybody on YouTube who could push Mizuno, it's me. Well, that last ball is gone. It was headed for the left rough. It is exceptionally soft down there and a lot of leaves. And I'm playing with junk anyway. I'm playing with the balls that I find in the bushes anyway at this time of year when it's when it's incredibly soft or when the leaves are down in autumn, I don't go out with Pro V1s, that's for certain. So some days YouTube is an absolute pleasure, and it is an absolute pleasure to answer your comments, and it's nice to read about people and what they do and what they're up to and what their aspirations are. You can't beat that. And some days it can be a little bit of a grind. That's life, I guess. Like greenkeepers going past when you're talking to a camera. So what's going to happen next year? Let's look forward and stop looking backwards. My two sons and I are hoping to join a local golf course in April. And when that happens, if it happens, then I'm back to playing full-time golf. And then we'll find out just how good I am. Or bad I am, to be fair. And I'm going to be entering competitions on the weekend. So I need the weather to be dry midweek so I can make my videos. And then we'll find out what's really going on. Because it's not until you got a card in your hand and you're off the back tees that you really find out about yourself. My phone keeps beeping. I wonder who that is. Shall we have a look? West Monmouthshire fireworks display this evening at the club. The upstairs bar will remain open. Well, there you go. Although you're too late to receive this message because this isn't going out for 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Do you know what? Westmont send me more WhatsApps than everyone else put together. Tell you what, let's shut up and play. 12 has been giving me some bother recently. Tee shot's fine. It's the second shot. I seem to go under the ball or add loft to the shot, and I'm coming up short. I mean, I've got enough club in my hand, but it's this far short. Do you know, I wonder how people score so well in the winter, because I can't. I also wonder, am I hitting the ball poorly, or is it just very, very cold? Because I am short more often than not these days. It's a good job I got a short game. I'll lag this up for a tap-in. Now, I do get told off for not treating my tap-ins very seriously, so let's do the right thing. Let's mark it and clean it. And line it up properly, and of course we've got to do a bit of aim point and have a look from the other side. I wonder why I don't do this in my videos. But have a look from this side just in case. Ah, fuck it, it's a gimme. Well, I don't know where that ball went. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the hole, come to think of it. So we move on to 15, which is now reopened. You can see it's a low point of the golf course. The greenkeepers have done an amazing job to reopen this. The bunkers are still GUR. They need work. But by golly, have they done some hard work there to get it reopened. Yeah, don't need to watch that one. That was down the middle. Don't need to watch that one either. That one's down the middle. But I'm left with one of these uphill, on and upslope shots. And I don't understand why I'm coming up short. And if there's one shot that summarises my year, yes, that one. Under 17, driver again. See, I'm hitting some good drives, but they're just not consistent. A 17 has been reopened. They've been putting drainage channels in because it got very, very wet. I think the water comes off the road behind the green and just saturates the green. Again, they've done a great job here. Right, I'm done. Can't wait for April to come round, join a golf club. My sons and I can get back to playing as much golf as we like, and then it should all improve. Just very strange today. It's cold, but this jumper is so thick I'm sweating and it's all steaming my glasses up. Right, so if you want to know where we're going to, we're just going to have to stick with the channel and wait until probably the end of April before we get in. 18th hole. Traditionally I hole a putt on this, so let's go and hole a putt. Oh, the driver. Off camera I've been hitting additional shots. So I've lost 4 balls today. One was the pull-hook off the 11th. One was the 14th where I hadn't aimed in the correct direction, so the ball was gone. But I also had 2 snap hooks off camera. You see, I've been hitting my tee shot and then pulling a couple of old balls out of the bag and basically practicing. And I've lost 2 with big screamers left, which I don't like to see. You get a big screamer left, when you get to the next tee you're afraid to commit to the shot and then you hit one inevitably right. So that regular shaft should suit me, but it just doesn't quite seem to. So I've got 3 rounds of golf before I go away. I'm going to put the stiff back in and we will see what happens. But at the moment, I haven't a damn clue. Cheerio. I said I'd hole a putt, I just didn't say how long it was going to be. But anyway, thanks to all of you. As I say, you saved the channel. Really, I was on the verge of quitting. Ta-ra.